I'm going to talk about some more books that I've read. This is probably going to be really quick because these were all very small things and I remember very little about the actual content of them. So, yeah, this is going to be a very short video. The first two I feel like have left me in the same kind of like mindset a little bit. So the first is The Girl Aquarium by Jen Campbell, and this was sent to me by Jen, but from Doris. So Doris had this sent to me, so it's signed by Jen, which is super sweet. And yeah, I enjoyed this more than Weird Things Customers Say in bookstores, but I still don't think this is quite hitting the mark for me. I think the book of hers, or like, you know, the thing that's gonna resonate with me the most is her short story collection. So I need to get that because I feel like, I mean, I don't feel bad because I can't control the way that I feel, but it is just a bummer. I feel like these are all very beautifully written. Her like voice and her language is just so beautiful, but I did not really get it. I am not really a poetry person in general, and unless it's like super obvious, it's really hard for me. I have a very like my brain is very like black and white. Black and white's not the right way to phrase it, but it's really hard for me to like conceptualize certain things, and it's hard for me to understand like metaphors and things like that, or, you know, try to find like the deeper meaning in something. All I see are the words that are on the page, and I feel like she is a very intelligent woman and has made connections and things in here that I don't think I got. Oh my gosh, what a loud voicemail. Sorry. Or voicemail's not the right word. Email. Yeah, so that is my problem. And this is my problem in general. Like, I don't get puns typically. It takes me like a little bit too long to get a lot of jokes. And it's just because it requires like a really strong working memory. And my working memory is not great. So it's hard for me to kind of like take different aspects or like different knowledges that I have and kind of put them together to make a connection like that. My favorite example is when my mother spoke to me in Spanish and I didn't understand her because I thought she was speaking to me in English, and those are two different parts of my brain. And so once I realized she was speaking in Spanish, I had to re-say it, and then obviously I understood what she was saying. But my brain is very compartmentalized, unfortunately, a lot of the times, but whatever. So I do think that if you watch her channel and like the way she talks about things, you're gonna enjoy this because, I mean, her voice is all over this. It's just was lost on me, sadly, a little bit. I think I gave this 3 stars. The next one that I have Morsels in One by Fernando Pessoa, and I have the Book of Disquiet, I think, by him too, which I'm looking forward to reading. This is translated by Jonathan Griffin. And yeah, this one I just didn't really get. It's more poetry. A lot of these like little classic books are poetry, and it's a bummer because I just don't get it. This was, again, I just didn't get it. So I don't even remember anything about it. So I'm just going to end it there. I don't even remember anything about, like, I think because I already knew who Jen Campbell was, who she is. It's a lot easier for me to like relate to that, but I know nothing about Pessoa, so I don't remember anything. This, on the other hand, is another poetry collection, and this one I got a lot, and it really touched me so much. This is The Survivor by Primo Levi, and this is translated by Jonathan Galassi. I don't know anything about Primo Levi because I am dense, I don't know. And so I started reading it, and I mean, the second poem is called, let me see if I guess it's not the second, it's the third one. Is called February 25th, 1944. And while I was reading it, I was like, oh, I think this guy was probably put in a concentration camp. And then I Googled it, and he was. And so, of course, they like broke my heart so much. They're printed chronologically in this book. And so the ones that are written right after the war, I think, were the most impactful for me. And then at the very end, they get really like strong and deep again. But in the middle, like the 70s to 80s, I feel like I remember it not being as strong to me. I don't really remember any of them. I'm going to read you one poem that I really, I mean, again, a lot of these were really, really, really great. And by great, you know what I mean, sad and heartbreaking. This poem is called Monday. What is sadder than a train that leaves on time, that only makes one sound, that only goes one way? Nothing's sadder than a train. Unless it is a cart horse. It's locked between two poles. It can't even look askance. Its whole life is plodding. And a man isn't a man sad if he lives alone for long, if he thinks time is over. A man's a sad thing too. And the one right before that's called Get Up. And that one is like heartbreaking. I really think this is so good, and I really want to read more of his works. And the next two, I don't really remember. Like, I mean, I remember a lot, but that's kind of like a lot, so it's hard to describe. This first one is 3 Japanese short stories by Akutagawa and others. So it's Behind the Prison by Nagai Kafu, Closet LLB by Uno Koji, and General Kim by Akutagawa Ryo Onusuke. I don't know. Here you go. These are them, and I absolutely loved this. I don't know what, this is translated by Jay Rubin, by the way. I don't know what rating I gave this, but whatever it is, I want to give it a 5 right now. I'm thinking about it. I loved these so much. I think it took me a really long time to read this, which is disappointing, but you know, it happens. It's hard. It's hard because you can't really describe what happens because they're so small. But the first, it's just like not great, you know? I mean, this is the text, it's great, but it ticks all of my specific boxes about like bad things happening to bad people and bad people existing. The last one, and specifically, I'll just kind of see, I can't even tell you, but it's about a general who's, I think it's 2 generals that are pretending to be monks, I think, and they're walking and they find like a young guy, and one of them wants to kill him, and the other one's like, oh, he's not even worth it, like he's fine. And I think these 2 generals are like part of a team that like raped and murdered a bunch of people. I think it has to do with, I can't remember like what, yeah, it's like a Korea versus Japan situation. I don't know. And so the one that's like, oh, you know, like just leave him, like that guy ends up being someone really important, and people, you know, karma and stuff. So great. Really, really enjoyed this. I think this is coming, like this is going to be in a book, like a larger book. Yeah, so these 3 short stories are from the forthcoming Penguin book of Japanese short stories, and I really want that, especially after reading this. I would read anything from any of these 3 authors. I really liked that. And the next one, the last one that I have to talk about is The Garden of Forking Paths by Jorge Luis Borges, and this one is translated by Donald A. Yates, Andrew Hurley, and James E. Irby, because again, it is a short story collection, and I don't know what this is published from, or like if this is in, so they're in different books, I think, but a lot of them seem to be in ficciones, so gotta read that. This was also so great, and again, really hard to describe, but same kind of thing, just like morbid, dark humor that I really enjoyed. One of them is called The Book of Sand, and in this book, there's like a door-to-door Bible, or in this story, there's a door-to-door Bible salesman, and he has this book, you know, that's special, and so he sells it to like the protagonist, but the book is very strange, and you know, weird things kind of happen, and it's so good. Ooh, I really liked this. So anyways, yes, those are 5 more things that I've read. I don't know what numbers of things, but I will put that down below. If you have read any of these and have any opinions, please let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.